So, E3 2021 just ended. Last year there was no E3 because of COVID. This year was an all digital, social distance E3. Lots of live chatting, lots of Zooming, and I figured I'd give my thoughts on it. I'd watch pretty much everything and give you my thoughts on it. And I'll have to be perfectly honest with you guys, I'm mostly pretty disappointed. First thing that came up was Ubisoft. Um, They showed a lot of Rainbow Six Extraction. Apparently, Rainbow Six is no longer about tactical combat and uh, real Tom Clancy style. Now they're delving into aliens. To me, that's not what Tom Clancy's all about, but apparently we're doing it. I'm not excited at all. When I want to play a Rainbow Six game, I want to play like a really hardcore high risk cautionary shooter where one little mistake can get you killed, not fighting an onslaught of aliens and have it feel not realistic and grounded. um, Not interested in Rainbow Six Extraction. Maybe one of these days I'll play it when it's like $10 or something. um, yeah, I got a whole list of things to talk about that I wrote down while I was watching every showcase. Um, and then, of course, more BMX. There's like a new snowboarding game. I don't think it's SSX. I think it's called something else. There's Rocksmith, Just Dance. That dragged on too long. You know, the Just Dance one was really cringy. I'm not gonna go into it. Um, there is a Mario and Rabbids, which they also covered in the Nintendo showcase, which I'll get to at the end. Um, okay, I mean that's more interesting. Far Cry 6 looks okay, nothing out of the ordinary. I'm gonna play it because I do enjoy Far Cry. Not $60, but I'll probably get it sometime later on. And okay, so their most interesting announcement is a game that literally nobody asked for. It's a licensed game based on a movie that came out 12 years ago. You guys all remember Avatar, right? Not The Last Airbender, but James Cameron's Avatar. Yeah, they're making a game 12 years after the first one when nobody really thinks about it anymore. Well, okay, you're a little late on that one, Ubisoft. That might not really sell anything. And that's about it. The one thing I always want Ubisoft to bring back is the one series that they're not bringing back. They keep making Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, Far Cry. They have more Assassin's Creed DLC coming out. Whatever happened to Splinter Cell, man? That's like one of my favorite series of all time. Definitely my favorite Ubisoft series of all time. All I wanted was a Splinter Cell. Just one Splinter Cell. And they're not giving it to me. Calm down, Darian. You only have you only have 8 more of these to go. On to Gearbox. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start, for the first time on my channel, I'm going to start grading showcases. Let's back up to Ubisoft for a second. I'm going to grade from A to F. I'm not going to do positive or negatives. I'm going to keep it as basic as possible. A being like exceeding everyone's expectations, doing everything that is at least expected or more than expected for that company. B is like still pretty impressive. They missed a couple things, but still a good showcase. C is like your average showcase, like it's all right. D is disappointing. or very lackluster, and F is it wasn't really much of a showcase. Um, I'm gonna give Ubisoft a D. Disappointing, in my opinion. Okay, let's move on to Gearbox. So Gearbox, I think one thing that people got out of that was that they used a lot of their humor. They're very proud of being funny. Uh, Recently, they're best known for making the Borderlands games. Now, I'm a Borderlands fan myself. I I like the first two Borderlands games a lot. Never played the DLC, but I would like to at some point in my lifetime. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, was okay. Borderlands 3, I did not like, only because of how buggy it was. And I did like Tales from the Borderlands, but that's a Telltale game. So they're making a Borderlands movie, and they're like showing the set and all that shit, and they're showing everything off. Um, they even had Kevin Hart in it at the end, and he's cool, he's funny. Having him is always a plus, no matter where he is or what he's doing. Um, they're also making a spin-off Borderlands called Wonderlands. I think it's going to star Tiny Tina. Not sure if I'm interested in that, but if it's like an RTS like their Homeworld series, I'm probably not going to be interested. Homeworld series I'm not familiar with. Uh, I'm sure plenty of people like it, but Tribes from Midgard, no. Godfall update, no. I heard Godfall was not good at all. And that's about it. Now, I will say that it wasn't quite as cringy as Ubisoft because the way Ubisoft performed theirs wasn't as good. It was longer. Gearbox was at least shorter in the sense that it's like a bad needle shot, Like it was over just when it was kind of overstaying its welcome. It was less cringy, but it actually offered less content and games. So I'm gonna give that a D too. Um, that was disappointing, even for Gearbox, and they're not a very big developer. You don't expect much from them, but and then we have the Xbox and Bethesda, because keep in mind Microsoft owns Bethesda now, and their lineup was a lot better than Ubisoft and Gearbox, mainly because of Xbox Game Pass. They're putting almost everything on Game Pass now, man. Like, get Xbox Game Pass. Like, you will not regret it. That's been where I've been playing almost every new game that comes out. Most of my new reviews are I make thanks to Game Pass. Otherwise, I would not have the money to buy each and every individual game. But yeah, I mean, they showed off a lot of third-party stuff, like Psychonauts 2 is going to be on Xbox Game Pass in I think late August, so it's coming up really really soon, and that's also going to be on PS4, but it is going to be on Game Pass. Not sure if I'm going to play it. I never played the first one. Um, They also announced Back for Blood will be on Game Pass. Left 4 Dead clone. Stalker 2 looks really good to me. I never played the first Stalker. I always heard good things about it. It looks kind of like a Metro game, where it's really dark, post-apocalyptic, kind of something that's up my alley when I want to be in the mood to play an atmospheric first-person shooter. I think Stalker would have me satisfied there. So I'm looking forward to that one. Um, Contraband, they showed like a trailer that had very little context. So I don't know what Contraband is yet. They also showed a really visually impressive trailer for Starfield. I need gameplay in order to be excited for that. Graphically, yeah, it looks fucking amazing, but like I need some gameplay to get more excited for that. There is a new indie game coming out that I'm pretty interested in trying, also on Game Pass, called 12 Minutes, where you're stuck in a loop and the whole game takes place in one room from like a top down angle, and you got to figure out certain things. I don't know. All I know is I saw Willem Dafoe in the credits, so he plays a voice. I love Willem Dafoe, so I'm probably gonna want to play 12 minutes. Um, Hopefully for more than 12 minutes though. Hopefully I don't get bored with it like I did with the what was that other one? Outer Wilds, the one where it's like a 30-minute long loop, and I got tired of that quickly. Oh, speaking of Outer Wilds, they did announce the Outer Worlds 2, and the teaser trailer was so hilarious. I'm excited for the Outer Worlds 2, and none of us know anything about it. It was my game of the year back in 2019, so I gotta play it, and that's coming on Game Pass as well. There is a new Sea of Thieves Captain Sparrow. I'm not interested in Sea of Thieves, but I mean, anyone who likes pirates, and especially likes Pirates of the Caribbean, would be very interested in that. Not my thing, though. Oh, the best one, though. There's new Fallout 76 content. I'm definitely going to play that for you guys. So stay tuned for that one. Steel Rain. You get to visit the pit. What was it? No, Fallout 3. Fallout 3, you visited the pit. Hades, probably the best game of last year that I didn't get to play Hades because it was only out on PC and Switch. It's coming out on PS4 and Xbox One too, in August. More grounded updates. Yeah. When's it really coming out, you know? They're adding achievements to it. Apparently that's a big deal. There are console ports of Among Us coming out. I never got into that whole trend, Among Us. I know what it's about, but you know, I mean, maybe if I played it, I'd like it. But The Ascent, I already knew that was coming out on Game Pass, so I'll play that. I'll try to do a review out for that game next month. It's kind of like a hack and slash isometric looter shooter. Um, I think the most impressive thing that Bethesda slash Microsoft slash Xbox Game Pass really did for me was Forza Horizon 5. I'm a big fan of Forza Horizon. Forza is like my favorite racing series right now, and Forza Horizon 5, it's launching on Game Pass in November, and I'm gonna play the hell out of it just because I love Forza Horizon games, especially. And Forza Horizon 5's graphics look like fucking state of the art. Like it looks like they said something about taking like real photographs of real places in Mexico and like recreating or something ridiculous, and like it looks fantastic. I'm definitely gonna play Forza Horizon 5. And then there's something called Redfall, which I don't even remember what it was, so it must have not been that important. So overall, Microsoft and Bethesda is gonna get a B from me. It was a good one. In my opinion, they offered a ton of stuff. There's like 30 games coming out on Game Pass. It's the best deal in gaming right now, hands down. Like, I believe that's entirely objective too. I also believe it's starting to rain outside. I forgot to mention the Xbox hosted, you know, Halo Infinite, and how the multiplayer is going to be free to play. So what I'm getting is everyone can play the Halo multiplayer for free, but if you want to play the campaign, you got to pay $60. This, of course, won't matter if you have Game Pass because it's all going to be free with Game Pass. But I can already tell you, I do not recommend buying Halo Infinite for 60 or 70 or whatever the hell it's going for if you can play the Infinite portion for free, you know? And then if you want to just play the campaign, just play it on Game Pass. Yeah, so Microsoft and Bethesda did a good job there. I will say that. And now it's time for Square Enix. Oh boy. Guardians of the Galaxy game. To me, it looks very lame. It looks like another repeat of the Avengers. Um, I'm not bashing the writing. Maybe the story's better. Maybe the humor is better. Because this Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously, it's going to be kind of funny. Um, I hate the way all the characters look. I just fucking hate it. I hate Star-Lord's new haircut. Like, if they could have just gotten the likeness of Chris Pratt and, all the other actors, I would definitely be more excited for it because I love the movies. But yeah, the gameplay doesn't look all that great, really. It looks kind of generic. You only get to play as Star Lord, which, like, he's kind of like my least favorite character of the Guardians. Maybe not in terms of character development, but just in terms of like interesting abilities. Like he's like the least. Like I would rather play as Drax or Groot, you know. But who knows, man? I mean, it is something. They're delivering a Guardians of the Galaxy game. Hopefully, it's a lot better than Avengers, but I wouldn't guarantee it. We'll see. I'm not excited for it. It looks kind of Avengers 2.0 ish. They're remastering the really old Final Fantasy games, like really old, as in 4 to 6. I'm more interested in that. I'm even more interested in the port of Legend of Mana, which is coming out like in a week, I think. Um, and there's also more Avengers content like Black Panther. Man, if it's just more of the same crap, I'm not gonna want to play it. I know Black Panther's cool and all, but if it's the same gameplay style, repetitive, grindy, I don't want to go back to Avengers, man. That was painful. It wasn't like horrible. It wasn't like buggy bad, like Cyberpunk bad, but it was just boring and bland. And I just don't want to do it again. And they're announcing all these different Hitman and Nier and other Final Fantasy mobile garbage that I don't care about. Um, they release a new trailer and some discussion on Babylon Fall. It doesn't hold my interest either. There's the ridiculously overpriced Life is Strange True Colors. They're charging $60 for this. I like the first Life is Strange game a lot. I haven't played the second one, but I did play the prequel, which I like too. I mean they're good interactive story games, but shouldn't they only be like 20? Whatever happened to like like interactive movie games that are only $20? Like they top it off at that amount. And like the Telltale games are only $20. $5 an episode, whatever. Like why is it 60? And to get the Ultimate Edition Super Duper Deluxe Extra blah blah blah, it's like $100. Like they are making a collection though. Which I'd probably rather get than blow my money on a $60 Life is Strange game that's probably only like 5 or 6 hours long. They're not long games. Final Fantasy Origin Stranger of Paradise. I don't even remember. It's a good thing I'm writing a lot of these down because like I I can't remember these. This is just a couple days ago. So yeah, Square Enix also is going to get a D. I think the only reason why they wouldn't get an F from me is because of Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a chance it could be good. They're also remastering the older Final Fantasy games, which is also a plus. So it kind of makes it passable. Um, they teased Final Fantasy 16. They didn't show any new Final Fantasy 7 remake. They didn't show like a chapter 2. Obviously, it's a little too soon for that. They did mention the intergrade on PS5 for Final Fantasy 7 remake, at least. You know what though? There's one thing that I wanted Square Enix to bring back. and that's Deus Ex. All I wanted was a Deus Ex. Just one Deus Ex. And they wouldn't give it to me. Now, PC Gamer also hosted their own little showcase called the PC Geek Gaming Show. And I almost didn't tune into this only because I don't play PC games. But I'm actually kind of glad that I did. They showed off a lot of games. Let's start off with the ones that I'm not interested in first, because there are quite a few that I don't really care for, like Naruka Battle Royale. I'm not a big Battle Royale fan, man. Every time I try playing a Battle Royale game, it just doesn't really. I can't really commit myself to it. The only Battle Royale game that I really liked was Apex Legends, and that's it. So, yeah. Humankind, Mech Warrior. They did a lot of Mech Warrior talk. Like, oh, Mech Warrior 5. Like, even though it's already out, I could download it on Game Pass right now and play it. Why are we still talking about Mech Warrior? Like, it felt like an entire quarter of that show was just them going on about, oh, Mech Warrior is so cool. Like, what gives? Is it really that good? Like, if it's that good, I'll play it. Never played a Mech Warrior game before, but I'll try Mech Warrior 5 if it's like the best game ever made. So yeah, Mech Warrior is a big deal to PC gamers apparently. There is an interesting indie game called They Always Run. Orcs Must Die 3. I'm not. Is that lightning? I might get struck by lightning, people. Um, Orcs Must Die 3. I'm not really into tower defense games. War Tales. Ixion or Axion. A lot of these games I need to see more of. I am kind of interested in Silt. Kind of reminds me of like Limbo and Inside, so that could be pretty good. Warhammer 40K, there's another one of those coming out. Um, Pioneer is like a new shooter. I'll have to see more of that. Could be decent. Icarus looks pretty good. It's like a survival open world game. I'm kind of interested in that. Songs of Conquest, no. I remember one of these guys got like, obviously it was scripted, but he got his time cut short by Gabe Newell of Valve, thinking that it was, making us think that's a big deal, like Half-Life 3 or Portal 3 or any other Valve game that would be 3 if they had just made it. But Gabe was only there to knock someone named Dave. I put his name here for some reason. His name was Dave, and he got shafted for 15 minutes of Gabe. Um, just talking about games that he's watching, and he's like, "Oh, this is a pretty fucking good looking game and shit." I call that part the disappointing Gabe because they kind of made us think that we were gonna see like actual Half-Life, you know, 3, and we didn't. So, but there was a lot. One thing that I really want is a Steam Pal. A Steam Pal apparently Steam is making like maybe they've already made it and have it up, but it's like a handheld device to play your PC games that you own on Steam. And I own quite a bit of Steam games, and I don't really have a good computer to play my games on, so a Steam Pal would probably be something I might want to invest in. They also introduced this weird controller where you put it's called a Neuro Impulse controller. It's like a glove. It's like a power glove playing with power. But they make it so that like the game detects your finger trigger before it even like presses the button. It seems like really advanced. It kind of blew me away. Not something I'd like to buy, but it is pretty interesting. Overall, PC Gaming Show showed a lot, and I'm glad I tuned into that. I thought it was just going to be like, I don't know, like people playing games and shit. But they did a lot. So I think PC Gaming Show would probably get a B. I think I like the Bethesda a little bit more. Maybe about as much. They're both B's to me. I enjoyed them. They impressed me in certain points. Oh dear Lord, guys, we have an F. One of these showcases is an F, and it was Take-Two. Aside from Blanco's Block Party, which was I'm pretty sure is already out. I think they're just showing new updates or something. It there was no. I'm not being. I'm not exaggerating. There was no showcase. It was a group of people zooming each other, like 8 people, and they're just talking about how far they've come with diversity in video games and shit. And like that's great and all. Like I'm all about diversity and inclusiveness and stuff like that. I'm all about that. I'm a left-leaning person, you know what I mean? But this is E3. Like can't you reserve that someplace else? Don't waste people's time. It was at least an hour long of them literally doing nothing but talking about shit that nobody came here for. There was no, they didn't present anything. Take-Two was an F. That's all there is to it. And that really brings down the overall scale. You know, I've had a few D's here, I had a couple B's here. This one gets an F. And now we're about to have another D. The Capcom D. They announced a new DLC for Village, which I'm pretty sure we all saw coming, right? New Monster Hunter stuff. There's a spin-off, I think. Is it Monster Hunter Stories? I think it's like a. I don't know, man. I'm not big on Monster Hunter, so I don't know. Um, but there's a lot of Monster Hunter stuff, Monster Hunter Rise updates. And of course, Great Ace Attorney games. There was a ton of showing that, and that's another series that I don't care for. Great Ace Attorney, and just a bunch of esports crap that I didn't even bother watching until the end. So, um, Capcom was surprisingly bare bones. Yeah, they had a little bit of Resident Evil. I think we'll be getting the Reverse multiplayer next month sometime. More Monster Hunter. They're good games. They're just not up my alley. And Great Ace Attorney, and I don't care. I don't really care about that. And they didn't show anything new. There's no new IPs coming from Capcom, which is disappointing. Um, I would have liked to see revivals. Like, what about Onimusha or Beautiful Joe or Dino Crisis? I mean, they've had so many IPs. Like, what about a new Mega Man or something for Nintendo Switch? Or, like, eh, yeah. Oh, no Street Fighter. Come on, man. Capcom was very disappointing. It literally only lasted like 20 minutes long. Like no shit. It was like 15 or 20 minutes long, not including the esports, which I didn't bother with. We finally have a really phenomenal showcase, and that of course is Nintendo. These guys gave us a lot of shit to look forward to. All right. First comes first. They introduce a Tekken character to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That's cool. Um, there are Life is Strange ports. Guardians of the Galaxy again. They announced a lot of games that are also coming on Switch. So some mobile stuff here and there. Super Monkey Ball Collection. It's called Banana Mania. There's a Mario Party collection, and I think there's a new Mario Party game coming out called Mario Party Superstars. Um, Metroid Prime 4 obviously is coming out. We didn't get to see anything, but it's coming, and that's something to look forward to because Metroid Prime is fucking awesome. There is also Metroid Dread. Now this, out of every game I saw in E3, this game blew me away the most. I love Metroidvania games. Metroid Dread is like a 2D. It's like a classic Metroid game, but with kind of modernized graphics. Think like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night or Shadow Complex, kind of like one of those. And it looks really good. It looks fucking amazing, and that's coming out on October 8th. Um, Just Dance, I don't care. We already talked about that with Ubisoft. There's a new Mario Golf game. I'm not a big fan of golf, but that's cool. There's a new WarioWare game called Get It Together, and that actually looks pretty fun. I never tried WarioWare, and now I'm thinking about trying it because that does look like some goofy fun right there. There's a Dragon Rampa collection. There's a lot of collections coming out for Nintendo, and Dragon Rampa, another game series I don't really, I'm not familiar with. They are also remaking Advance Wars that was originally on Game Boy Advance. There's a Hyrule update. The Hyrule, what was the name of that? Legends of Hyrule. Kind of like a Zelda spinoff, but yeah, they have an update for that. They're doing an HD of Skyward Sword that was originally on Wii. They introduced this weird little pocket uh, handheld called Game and Watch, and I still have no idea what the hell it's meant for. You get to like watch Zelda games or something. I'll have to look more into that. It looks confusing as hell. Shin Megami Tensei 5. They showed some of that. That looks pretty cool. The only game that I played in that series is Persona 5, um, which Persona in itself is like a sub series of the Shin Megami Tensei franchise. So that's always something cool to look forward to. There's also a new Fatal Frame game. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Fatal Frame. Those are like quality horror games, like really scary games, and I look forward to seeing that. And last but not least, Breath of the Wild. Fuck yeah! That game's gonna do really well. It looks great. They didn't show a lot of it, but it looks really really awesome. Um, so yeah, Nintendo did an amazing job as expected. I'm gonna give them an A. Nintendo, I mean, they could have announced a couple things, like I don't know, maybe like a new Golden Sun or something. But I mean, they have so much IPs that like there's always something to look forward to with Nintendo. Um, I want a Switch. Their showcase made me want to get a Switch. Fuck PS5 and Xbox Series X. I'm getting a Switch. That'll be my next console. Period. I will skip PS5 and Series X to play all those fun ass looking games on the Nintendo Switch. I'm missing out on so much, man. I feel like either next year or the year after, I'm probably just going to convert entirely to Nintendo. They almost never disappoint, man, in terms of like hardware and stuff. They're expensive, their games never go on sale. I understand that, but what you get is usually very high quality stuff. And I'm getting sick and tired of playing buggy ass games. I just want to sit down, play a good quality game. God, and Nintendo still makes good games. And lastly, Bandai Namco, they had I don't know if it glitched out, but all they showed was Dark Pictures' House of Ashes, and it takes place like in Iraq during 2003. But it's one of those kind of like story related games, story driven, not a lot of emphasis on gameplay. I never played the other Dark Picture titles. I heard they were okay. And then they started talking about it some more. It dragged on. And then someone else started talking and to each other, and the live stream just cut. And E3 was over. He wasn't even finished with his own sentence. It just literally cut. I was watching the IGN live showcase. You can look them up. So we're just gonna pretend that we saw a little bit of Elden Ring there, okay? Just to not give it an F, because Elden Ring is coming out in January and that looks great. So we're just we're gonna just cheat past Bandai Namco. I don't know what the hell happened to their live stream. So that gets a D. when you include Elden Ring. So yeah, that was E3. You know, aside from Nintendo and Xbox and some PC, I was very let down. Overall, it was like below average, I guess. Maybe, yeah, definitely below average at best. Um, Hail Nintendo, and yeah, I think that's it. God, imagine you're in the middle of a live stream. I can't get that out of my head. You're in the middle of a live stream, and then all of a suddenly it'll cut in the middle of the video when you're in the middle of saying